All right. Yep, looks good. I like it. Yep. You're going to fly away. Be careful.
So, according to your notes, we're on a 8-game winnie, baby.
Yeah, for the first time in a long time, I'm excited to talk about the Royals and what they're doing.
I mean, yeah. It's funny because like cue the time of year where we're playing the most amazing baseball in the most meaningless time. Like, I'm happy that it's fun to actually watch. Like I just watched the recap because I didn't actually get to watch the game on Sunday. I got to watch your recap and I watched the highlights, and awesome game. Like, honestly, one of the better games of the year. And what's the result? Oh wow! Now we're only 18 games below 500.
Yeah, we
So-
the first half of the season we went 38-59, and we are 20-15 since the break. And
we are officially 30 games left in the season, by the way. So we'll only go ahead.
They're gonna win 88 games. It's on the table.
It is indeed.
But I want to get into what's been going on in this 8-game win streak, because it's been really nothing but good.
Yeah.
So
It's awesome.
The Royals as a team, they've scored 50 runs. They have a 299 batting average, 380 on base. They have an 888 OPS. They've hit 12 home runs, 15 doubles, 79 hits.
Out of curiosity, I looked if we were to keep this pace for an entire season. 50 runs average out for a whole season would be 1,012 runs. So the last team to score over 1,000 runs in a season was the 1999 Cleveland Indians, who scored 1,009. And then the last teams to do it were a bunch of randos. You want to know who holds the record for most runs scored in a season?
Oh, I want to know.
1,220 runs were scored in a 133 game season by the Boston Bean Eaters back in 1894.
Yeah, the Boston Bean Eaters, who are now the Atlanta Braves.
But imagine having to have like a franchise heritage night or franchise history night, and they're having to wear the alternate Bean Eater uniforms
because we're known for our baked beans. But no, you did a little sample of if the Royals sustained this for 162 game stretch, they'd have a plus 465, almost plus 466 run differential, which is absurdly unrealistic, but hilarious, because the best run differential
so awesome
in 2026 right now is the Milwaukee Brewers at plus 161. But could you imagine a plus 465?
I can't imagine it, and it makes me happy. Yeah, what else you got here? Bobby Witt Jr., huh?
Bobby Witt Jr. in this 8-game win streak, 375, batting 375, 12 hits, 3 home runs, 6 RBIs, 9 runs scored.
Woo.
Also has 3 stolen bases. Kyle Isbell over the weekend in the sweep against Detroit. 455, 5 hits, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs, 4 runs scored, a double as well. Kyle Isbell, who statistically, offensively, nothing to write home about, but I feel like we've had moments this season where Kyle Isbell's kind of carried the team. And this 8-game win streak has been a collective effort, because it just basically everybody has done something positive, and we, for the most part, haven't had to talk about who isn't. So
yeah, it seems like on that game on Sunday that I just referenced, John Rave hits a home run and Nick Lofton hit a home run. So unlikely heroes.
That game, we can talk about that game too, because that was like kind of a Royals experience of went down early, like kind of looking like, oh, Daniel Lynch is going to have a rough outing, and then only gives up 1 run in the top of the first. And bottom of the second, Royals are like, we're just going to bat around. We're going to score 5 runs. Nick Lofton, who we all expect to be the carrier of the offense, 3-run shot. And then the wheels kind of fall off in the top of the 5th, and you're like, oh, there's the Royals. There they are. Now it's
Good
5-5.
old Mason Black.
Yep, Mason Black, who I haven't looked at transactions, but is he still up here?
I'm not sure. Let's find out, honestly.
So Mason Black came in, fumbled the bag, but in the bottom half of the inning, the Royals, John Rave hits a home run. You're like, okay, Nick Lofton and John Rave are contributing, then all is well.
Yeah, honestly. And yeah, that's a good way to say that. It's something that you don't want to have to see because you would rather be Cags or someone doing it. But as long as the runs are crossing home plate, why would you complain? It's a very Chiefs mentality where it's like, don't care how you do it as long as you get the win.
Get it done. A win's a win. Michael Massey, over this 8-game stretch, he's hitting 500, has 14 hits, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, 6 runs. Michael Massey, like, I know we've talked about, like, if the Royals could go get a second baseman, then that'd be good. But looking at the team stats, obviously Royals have the season that they're having, but Michael Massey has the 3rd best OPS on the team. So it's okay. It's Tyler Tolbert technically has the 3rd best, but he doesn't count. So
hey, what second baseman could you get that in a 162 game sample size of this, he hits 283 hits with 40 home runs?
283 hits is crazy.
He would have like 110 RBIs.
That's like Ichiro days.
Yeah, that's
283
hits
would be. Because Bobby Witt Jr. has 127 hits right now. Bobby Witt Jr. last season, I think he had 184 hits, and that led the American League. So you'd have to get 100 more hits. But yeah, Michael Massey, 751 OPS on the season. I feel like over the last really 2 weeks, that's gone up like 25 points. So he's kind of playing himself. He's playing himself into like being part of the core and being part of the future. And it's kind of cool to see.
Well, that's exactly.
He's been someone that, like, we're like, oh, like we joked about earlier in the season of like, oh, Michael Massey's hurt. Shocked. And he's been healthy for most of the season.
Well, that kind of goes to our point that we made a few weeks ago, which was this is like, hey, cue the part of the season where all these players start lighting it up and they win themselves jobs for next season, and nobody's going to get fired. No one's going to get held accountable for the other, 4/5 of the season where they just ate butt. And at this point, that's a great thing to bring up, because Michael Massey, I remember one of my core memories of him actually lighting it up was in 2024. He was our second baseman, and he contributed in the Yankee series almost more than anyone. He had a game tying single or it was something, or a double where he got an RBI and got on base, and it was so awesome. He was fired up, and we haven't really seen a sample size of Michael Massey being this hot for this long. So it's good, because there's been times where for one series he'll be really good. Like for Kyle Isbell, there's a great example where he'll have like a series where he just plays his butt off, but then he goes pretty quiet. Nothing crazy. He's hitting like 200 or 220 through a couple other series, but then he has a really, really hot series. So I would love to see more. It sucks because I'm just I need to be more grateful for this time that we're seeing, but it's just hard to it's hard to be happy about it whenever I just watch them blow chunks for months and months. So, I mean, I'm okay with Michael Massey. I've always liked him, and all these players that we've mentioned, they're players I want to see succeed. In fact, if we bring him back and they're able to sustain something like that for an entire season, I think we're a playoff team. We proved that in 2024. So, I don't know. This is a good flash of what could be. Some of the players that we would expect to be contributors, like Jack Caglione, not really a part of it because he's dealing with his ankle injury. Hasn't found himself in a starting lineup in the last few days. So hopefully he gets better. So in our notes here, I wrote 39 of our 58 wins this season have been against teams that were below 500, and only 19 of the 63 something games against teams above 500 were wins. So we're 1 for 3 essentially in games versus teams above 500. And that kind of piqued our interest. So we started looking into some of these other statistics on here. So literally, just if you go to the MLB app or the MLB.com website, you look at the standings for the Royals, their standard and expanded stats. So 58 wins, 74 losses. We're 8 games behind a playoff spot in the wild card. We're 9 out of our last 10 games. We're on an 8-game winning streak. And then like the run differential stats. So we've scored 560 runs. We've given up 651, which is a run differential of negative 91. And then over here, this is where a story of two teams conversation starts to happen. So at home, the Royals have 36 wins and 30 losses. However, away, we are 1 for 3 exactly, 22 wins and 44 losses. So obviously, if you look at our record, that'll tell you where we're at. We have 22 games below 500 away, and then the 6 that we are above make up for our 18 games or 16 games below 500 right now. And if you click expanded here, there's a couple more stats that I found really telling, and one of them, basically the biggest one, is against the American League East this season. It is disgusting. We have 3 wins, 19 losses. So if you're not familiar, the American League East, it's Tampa Bay Rays, New York Yankees, Boston Red Sox, Toronto Blue Jays, and the Baltimore Orioles. We do have a 3-game series starting tonight, time of recording, which is Tuesday, against the Blue Jays. So hopefully they don't hand our butts to us. Hopefully we can reverse the...
Here's your butt.
Yep, here's your butt, buddy. So... yeah, that was kind of the point I wanted to make, where if we just went 500 in some of those series, like obviously some of those, like I remember the Yankees series, we got outscored like 30-2 or something insane.
Yeah.
It was a disgusting series. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. I know Noah Cameron got absolutely rocked, gave up like 7 runs in one of those games. So did Seth Lugo.
Yeah, Noah Cameron got rocked, and then they were like, "Here you go, Mitch Spence," and Mitch Spence was like, "Hold my beer."
Yeah, yeah.
but no, looking at it, like the AL West, the Royals have absolutely cooked the West, other than the Rangers. But you mentioned it; they're 0-6 against the Yankees. They got swept by the Rockies. They got swept by Boston. They're 1-5 against Baltimore. So it's like some of these are like, man, if you went 2-4 against the Yankees, you went 1-2 against the Dodgers, you went 2-3 against Baltimore, you see what I'm saying? You're like,
yeah,
you're looking at a completely different season.
Yeah, and this kind of, it's a big rabbit hole. So you look at a season, and when we're only 8 games back, it's not hard to find 8 games that were completely winnable and we should have won. So you could just sit here and look like we would be on a 10-game win streak if on last Saturday we wouldn't have lost 1-0 against the terrible Angels.
Yep.
That's something that just can't happen. And especially when in this 8-game winning streak, we're scoring 50 runs in 8 games. Why can't we score 1 or 2 against one of the worst teams in the league? And we would be on a 10-game winning streak right now. And there's a whole bunch, like it kind of points a finger at how are we losing, and there's so many. The sample size is unreal of things like blown holds, blown saves, which we kind of got into. We have 23 total blown saves this season. Surprisingly, there's still 5 teams that are actually worse than that. Teams like the A's are terrible with closing out games. What are you going to say?
I was going to say, I think the Nationals are significantly worse than the Royals.
Yeah, they have 33 blown saves, so rip that. So if Kansas City would have just won 1/3 of those games that were blown by the bullpen in the 8th inning, they would have a playoff spot because that makes up 8 games. If they would have won all of the games that they blew in the 9th inning, they would also have a playoff spot. We have a 9.5 ERA in the 9th inning, and
6.5.
We were looking at, 6.5 ERA in the 9th inning. And we were looking at some of the names. I actually was pretty surprised breaking it down, looking at who's responsible for what. But on our team, Lucas Ursig has 6 blown saves. Alex Lang has 3. Steven Cruz has 1. John Schreiber has 3. Daniel Lynch has 2. Nate Pearson has 1. And those are all games that were, these are if you guys follow our recap videos, you're familiar with some of these stories where we're like, oh, well, we had a 3-run lead, and then Steven Cruz decided that it was the home run derby, and he gives up 3 straight home runs. Or Lucas Erceg comes in with a 1-run lead, he loads the bases, and then in comes Matt Strahm, who gives up, 5 runs in .1 innings, only getting 1 out. So there's a lot of those. There's not. We're not saying that those are like freak accidents and they kind of add up. No, if we won those games, guys, 23 blown saves. If we would have won half of those games, we would have sole possession of a playoff spot in the wild card at least. And then with our division, the White Sox are only 5 games above 500. If we would have, out of 23, let's say we win 12 of those, the Royals would have 70 wins right now. That would have us in first place in the Central. In a season where not only the Central is just not good, there isn't even a team with a winning record in the American League West right now. The best is 500.
Yeah.
With the Texas Rangers.
And
so
you brought up the White Sox and how they're weak. Look, I'm looking at the Royals' record versus the White Sox. So the Royals are 3-7 against Chicago. Obviously, Chicago's significantly better than they used to be, but like you look at the you look at the Royals' record in 2024 when they made the playoffs. They went 12-1 against the White Sox, right? So like you're a team that you could pretty much count on. I'm going to win 10 games against them at least, probably. You're 4 games under 500 against them. So you're like, you don't even have that to fall back on anymore.
Yeah. And versus teams above 500, we are 19-44. So we are 25 games below 500 against teams that are actually either okay or good. And then against the teams that are below 500, we were something, it's not on here, but we looked it up. It was a great record. We were doing really well. We had won basically 2 out of 3 against bad teams. So it's really just an opportunity loss. Like it makes me mad at all of those contributing factors. Like Matt Strahm, who we went out and acquired because we needed a late inning lefty. He proves to just be unk and completely ruined that. I want to see his stats too, because we were reading off the blown save opportunities, and he's not on the list because he's no longer a Royal. So I'd love to see. Is he even on a team anymore? I don't think so.
No,
Let's
he's
real quick.
He's hanging out somewhere. So he doesn't actually have any save opportunity, or he doesn't have any saves in 2026. I don't know about save opportunities, but I'd imagine that he has at least some blown holds and blown saves. But Matt Strahm had a 7.3 ERA in 2026. And I think I said it last week.
4 losses, so
yeah, 4. He's 0-4. I think I said it last week. Like if you're
4
getting
blown
DFA'd,
saves.
okay.
4 blown saves because he had 4 save opportunities and he had approximately 0.
All right, if you're getting DFA'd by the Royals, you're especially kind of bad because like they need bodies. They need bodies at this point. Like their bullpen is they have 1 lefty in it. So
it's so gross. It's gross. It's just so like it's little things like that when you're a frustrated sports fan, what do you want to do? It's point the finger. You want to point the finger and address the problem and correct the problem. And moves like that, like Jonathan Bolin, who is one of the subtractions we made for the addition of Matt Strahm, he's going off. He's having a great season. I know he's not a lefty, but if we would have just kept a guy like that and he put in those innings, that's 4 games right there. 4 games. I mean, let's say he loses 1. 3. Wow, 3 games. So if all we're looking for is 8 games that we could have won, I know that, hindsight's 2020. We're sitting here complaining about what could have been, but it helps you kind of build a case for what needs to happen. It helps you diagnose the issue. And I mean, of course, there's run scoring issues. Like I just referenced, the 1-0 loss last Saturday against the Angels. That just should not happen. You have a team that just put up 50 in the last 8 games. Where was that team on that game? They all just decided to not show up. All of them were terrible. So not to harp on that too much, but like Bobby Witt Jr. went 0 for 3, Lofton 0 for 4, Cags had 1 hit, Salvi 0 for 3, Collins 0 for 3, Massey was 1 for 3, Starling Marte, who's on the couch right now, 0 for 3, Luke Maley, who started at catcher, 0 for 2. Like,
is that the day that Starling Marte got DFA'd? The day after?
You might be right about that. I'm not entirely sure. But the Royals only had 2 hits the entire game.
Yeah.
We only reached base twice. We didn't even get any walks. No hit by pitch, nothing. So,
yeah.
Freaking gross.
I think it was that game because, yeah, I think I recapped that. But, yeah, anyway. Yeah, you look at it and, like, we made an argument. You know, we were talking months ago of, like, what's the problem in the season, and we were going off on the offense because they were the problem, and, like, that still stands. Like, they were better in the first third of the season than, like, a lot of things would be different. But I remember being like, we got to start holding the bullpen as accountable as we are the offense. And you're looking at these numbers and you're like, oh my gosh, like you said, we had 23 blown saves. If we would have just blown 11 or 12 of those, and you're like, this is a completely different 2026 season.
Yeah. So is that something like, this is the point I've made a couple times where I'm mad at Carlos Estevez, even though he's not even been here. But that's why I'm mad at him. He's not been here. We signed him for a 2-year deal. Like, first of all, should that have been the warning sign? Is that a bad signing by JJ? Like, is that the person we point the finger at? Is JJ Piccolo? Because he's the one that signed a closer that was really good and then just fell off the face of the planet the next year. Like, I don't know if that's entirely his fault for a player's completely unforeseen fall off. But, you know, if we had that guy, if we had all these saves being given to like a guy that was capable. I know last year Estevez did have a handful of blown saves, like,
but he also led the league in
6.
saves.
Exactly. So, I mean, is this a story where if the Royals just spent the money and went out and just got an insane free agent closer that we would be a playoff team right now? Is that all it really takes? Like, I don't think that I've seen... I don't have enough confidence in the offense as a whole this season that I would think that that's a playoff offense. But then when they have a hot streak like this, it's like this team could go on with anybody. They went toe to toe with the Dodgers and went blow for blow each game, and that gave me so much confidence, and it made me even more frustrated at the bullpen that series specifically, because that's one that we just kept blowing the lead. We would either get the lead or tie the game, when then we'd blow it. And yeah, go ahead. You were going to say something.
I think Carlos Estevez, like, I don't think we can, like, blame JJ for that, because last year he led the league in saves.
Yeah,
and you can't really predict injury. However, I think they needed to have a better plan in place for the injury, because I don't know, and that's where it gets kind of fuzzy. So obviously, we're not on the inside, so we don't know. But it's like, was Carlos Estevez not being upfront about the injuries, or were the Royals not taking it seriously? And part of me feels like the Royals weren't taking it as seriously as they should have, because I remember reading quotes of JJ going, well, he just gets off to a slow start, so we're just going to, like, let him get off to a slow start. And then he got off to a slow start and never sped up. And, you know, I was looking at his stats the other day, and he's obviously has that one appearance, and he has a 1.62 ERA.
Could not have given up any more runs than he possibly did. Like, that was hilarious. Gives up a grand slam when he only needed to give up one. Oh my god.
Yeah.
1.62 ERA.
But I do think, like, at the very least, the Royals should have had a better plan in place. Like, I'm not mad at them. I'm not mad at them for, like, oh, naturally you're just gonna put Lucas Erceg there, because that's what teams do. Like, it's a next man up thing. Like, Wade Davis going from the setup man to the closer, like, that's just the natural progression of the game. Lucas Erceg is the setup man. Our closer went down, therefore everybody moves up a slot. Like, that should have worked in theory, and it just didn't, and they let it go on for too long.
Like, it's one thing. I would like to see the save percentages. Lucas Erceg has a .66 save percentage. Quick math. Alex Lang has a much better, I mean,
in less attempts, right?
Yeah, so in 13 attempts, he has 10 saves. So I'm not really super sure what that would average to, but it's more than 66%.
Yeah.
But then there's people like Steven Cruz, who every 6 games he blows 1 save. So if he were to have the 18 save opportunities that Lucas Erceg has, he would have 15 saves. So he's blowing 3 every 18. So I don't know who on the team could be that person. Like Craig Kimbrell just got a save. I'm not saying I want him out there, but like it's kind of like if Patrick Mahomes tears his ACL, do I expect the Chiefs to perform well with the next guy up? Honestly, no.
No.
Do I expect them to go 500? Like there was the season where Mahomes got injured and it was Matt Moore,
Yeah, it was Matt
or
Moore.
Chad Henne had to pick up, like it was like a 2 to 4 game stretch and they
Yeah.
went 500 and we were all kind of like, yeah, well that's good enough. Like that's all we needed because Mahomes is gone. So when it's a different conversation when it's wins and losses in football for that small sample size, as opposed to the save opportunities, like a saver or a closer. When a savior,
Saver,
no, when
the thrift shop.
yeah. What's a good save percentage for a closer? Like what would you be happy with? Because if Carlos Estevez has, let's look at his stats from last season. So 2025 Royals, Carlos Estevez had 48 save opportunities and he got 42. So
I mean, 90% or higher would be where you want to be. Or where I'd be happy, I think.
So 87.5% is the save percentage of Carlos Estevez in 2025.
Okay.
So you're floating around 85 to 95%. If you can stay in that, if you can stay in that 90%, that's excellent. Like,
so yeah, I'm looking at quickly, like Mariano Rivera, according to Mariano Rivera had an 89.1 career save percentage. Trevor Hoffman 88.8, Joe Nathan 89, John Smoltz 91. So like
okay,
85 to 90 seems elite.
Good. Yeah. Well, I just looked it up. Mason Miller is 32 for 33, so he's at 96.97%,
Okay.
which is unreal. But like, name another closer. Let me look up one other closer. Edwin Diaz, maybe.
He's been horrible. So look
That's
up.
true. But it can't be worse than Lucas Erceg. Edwin Diaz is 7 for 11 in 2026, so that's a 63.6. That is worse than Lucas Erceg. Wow. Who's that guy for the Guardians? Do they have a
look up, yeah, Cade Smith. Cade
Okay,
Smith
so
has
Cade
34
Smith-
saves. Brian Baker has 38 saves. Cade Smith has an 87% save percentage. Brian Baker's 92%.
So we're looking here at some of these good names that we actually are like Yohan Duran with the Phillies. He has 28 saves. He only has 2 blown saves. It's a 93.3%. So if we still had a 87% guy, Carlos Estevez guy, getting something like if the Royals as a whole, is there a way that we can make this as a team, save opportunities as a team? Oh yeah, 23 blown saves. So right now as a team, so we're at a 59% save percentage right now. I'm not even asking to win all of them, but if we're going to get back to the Carlos Estevez, which was 87, we would be at 49 wins. So we would be 16 games better than we are right now if we would not have lost the Carlos Estevez efficiency. And let's say that Lucas Erceg wasn't as bad as he was, and that's 3 games back. Like, let's say he was half as bad as he was. That's 3 extra games. Like, it's blown saves as a team is not a common thing to happen. Like, that's something that we've kind of gotten used to as Royals fans, that we're kind of just used to the games getting blown half the time, when there's only, like I gave the stat, there's only 5 teams that are actually worse than us, and then everything gets much, much better, leaps and bounds better as a league. And we're in the bottom bottom 5, bottom 6 of the league right now. And if we were just league average, we would be making that up. 8 games sounds like a lot, but it's kind of not when you're able to kind of pick it apart and find all of those big, like blaring, jump out in your face things. So
Yeah.
yeah, like we said, there's other things that are wrong, but that's one great way to start. It's like, I like analogies, but it's kind of like if you had a kicker in football that just misses everything and you're losing games by 1 or 2 points, and you're like, well, that guy had a missed field goal today. Oh, he had 2 missed field goals earlier in the season, and there's 2 losses there. You'd have a 3 better wins. That is a quick, like, one thing. The Royals can go after this season. Okay, another rabbit hole. Closer free agents in 2027. That's a spot track thing, probably. So I don't know how many of these players are closers. Unfortunately, Spot Track only listed as a relief pitcher. How has nobody written an article about notable closers that will be? Okay, AI overview says some notable ones are ones like Aroldis Chapman, Kenley Jansen, Emmanuel Clase. 3 names that I would never even touch with the 10,000 foot
Emmanuel
pole.
Clase is not
Aroldis
even eligible.
Chapman, I mean,
he's banned.
yeah. AI says known for his high strikeout rate and effective in save situations.
Known for his ability to bet on his own games, Emmanuel Clase.
I mean, I would obviously be okay with Aroldis Chapman, but
we already had him. David Bednar, I think, is a free agent.
More notable 2027 free agent closers. Let me write closers on there. Andres Munoz, Ryan Helsley, Rysel Iglesias, Jose Alvarado. I mean, tie me up. David Bednar, Jason Adam, Johan Duran,
he an NBA player?
Jose Durant, or Johan Durant, Kyle Finnegan, like Luke Weaver. He's old, but Jeff Hoffman. I mean, dude, give me any of these guys. Sign one of them. And if you're looking at the MLB save leaders, who has the most saves as in the MLB right now?
I believe it's Brian Baker with the Rays.
Brian.
The point is, like, the bullpen needs work, whether it's closers or whoever. Like,
well, you have to go into your season with somebody as your closer. That's kind of just my belief. Like, sure, you can have a couple guys that are good, that you can lean on, but
I think,
I don't know, man.
Yes and no, because I think, like, there are times where you'll see, even like this season with the Royals, and maybe that's a lot of their problem, is they're like, yeah, like some of these positions and where they stand in the bullpen and what their role is, like, it takes a little bit for that to actually shake out and you figure that out. Obviously, you don't want to have a closer by committee situation going on and 6 weeks into your season. But
yeah,
I think for me, like, the Royals are going to have to revamp their bullpen as a whole. So it's like, hey, maybe they can go out and find a David Bednar or and spend some money on a closer, on a established closer. But hey, we're going to come in here and we're going to be open-minded, and it's going to be like, may the best man win. Because we can't have another season of, oh my gosh, we're going to have 30 plus blown saves by the end of it.
Yeah. And between Lucas Erceg and Alex Lang, they're 22 for 31. That's 71%. That's just not good enough. And if you already eliminated Lucas Erceg from the conversation, Alex Lang's percentage is 76%. So that's inching closer to being better, but that's just kind of not what you want to have. That's only 3 out of 4 opportunities. Yeah. So if he has the Carlos Estevez amount of opportunities, he's going to have 12 blown saves at the end of the year. So that's just kind of not what you want. If it's 6, like what Estevez had, that's kind of okay, because it's fewer and far between when it's 1 out of every 8, instead of 1 out of every 4. So
Yep. Yeah, like
So there's just a couple of things.
Expecting perfection is gonna get us nowhere. But yeah, if I can
But doesn't
go,
it kind of like go ahead.
if I can expect like, okay, every ninth save opportunity or every eighth save opportunity he's gonna blow a save, like I would be okay with that.
Yeah, exactly. And something that's kind of like giving me hope, like I'm obviously annoyed that we just wasted a season of Bobby's prime. We're wasting a season with the team we have and the players we have. Like obviously there was injuries and that accounted for really only a little bit of the like in the scope of things who's responsible for what, but it does kind of give me a bit of hope knowing that we are actually only one good chunk of change away from making a big difference. Like I I know that we're the trade season's over, but the moment trade season comes, any of those closers are technically fair game as long as there's not a no trade clause. So we have players that have value, especially if we keep balling out the rest of the season and we end up with, you know, we're not gonna. We'll see what happens, but if we end up doing okay and one of these players actually provides a really big boost, I would be okay with trading somebody away in exchange for someone, or even just signing the David Bednar. If we're gonna get 80% of our saves that we need, hopefully more like 85 to 90. I mean, it is kind of like a workhorse situation where you're going to need to find someone that can pitch that amount, but when you're a closer, your job is awesome because you only have to show up once. Like Carlos Estevez showed up to work 48 times in 1 year. That's a lot of save opportunities, but that's 48 days that you actually have to go crazy.
Yep.
Out of 365. So, I'm just hoping like we in this podcast just now we mentioned a lot of things that went wrong, a lot of different things. So the American League East, we could have played better. Games away, we could have played better. That's something like 25 of the games that we could have won that were just royal sucking because we just played bad this year. And there's mismanagement. Yes, there's blown saves, which is not mismanagement. It's a player getting his opportunity and he just isn't good this year. And I mean, that did come into question later whenever Lucas Urseg was struggling the most, whenever it's like, why are you even giving him the ball whenever he's just been so bad? But
and I want to I'm thinking about Lucas Urseg, and they optioned into AAA, right?
Yeah.
My thought is, why they wait so long to do that if that was something they could do?
That's a great question. I would have done that way sooner. It's like you're watching someone just flounder around and you're not just going to go help him out. It's going to help him going somewhere that he can succeed. Not only like get him somewhere where he can do what he's doing now, but hopefully, figure some things out and get his confidence back. I don't think that Lucas Urseg is just all of a sudden terrible. I just think that he was in his head a lot. Like you could tell when he's on the mound, he's getting angry. And then at one point he stopped being angry and then he just got sad. Like there was a couple weeks ago, it's hilariously sad. The photo of him sitting there all depressed looking, leaning over the railing. This is the picture here.
Yeah.
Like why are you putting this man in this situation? Like help him from himself.
So he's pitched 2 innings for Omaha, and he's given up 3 hits and 2 walks, no runs. Obviously, there's not enough there to take anything away from that. But I always go back to like Mike Moustakas being sent down to the minors in 2014 to kind of get him figured out. Yeah. Alex Gordon getting sent down to the minors when he was struggling at third base, and they converted him to an outfielder. And I'm not saying like Lucas Urseg is going to have the Alex Gordon Moose trajectory, but it's like if you can, you should do it. And you go back to like, man, if they would have stopped, not even sent Urseg down, but stopped putting him in those high leverage spots as often as they did. And I know the hard part about like teams and how they operate is they're like, man, if one person believes in this player, they're just going to keep doing the thing until nobody believes in that player anymore. So whoever was believing in Urseg, please step forward, because look what you did.
Yeah. And I see other things like Luinder Avila. Why can't he get a shot being a closer? Like, I know that that's not what the Royals have intended for him, but he's been not good as a starter this season. As a matter of fact, he's been bad.
His arm fell off.
Yeah, his arm fell off, and now he's getting fixed. So, like, maybe he's not built for that, it seems like, because he's hurt now. Like, too many innings already. And if what you need to do is have him in a late relief, like when I saw him, I never saw him as a starter. It's surface level here, but I saw him as being someone that I wish could translate into a late relief guy, because I was hoping that this story, and it's already unfolding in front of our eyes, let that be your Wade Davis, where he becomes a legitimately failed starter. Like, Wade Davis was a terrible starter, and then they just throw him in the bullpen, and he just turns out to be one of the greatest, like, closer / late inning relief pitchers in Royals history. So if that's what it takes, like one guy stepping forward and then go get a guy, and then the Royals are 10 games flip-flopped where they are now. If we were 10 games flip-flopped, that would mean that we would be 68 wins and 64 losses. That would have us right there at top of the American League Central. So it is kind of a relief. Like, obviously this season sucked. It's like, I'm almost excited to look at the end product here in a month and a half and be able to really have a good grasp of like what happened, look at this entire season, and officially start trying to diagnose some of the stuff. But you don't have to look far with a few of the things, and I think that it's kind of a relief knowing that something like closer is going to get you somewhere. Like, just having a closer could have us going from, so like I mentioned just a minute ago, we have 33 saves in the 56 opportunities. That's 58.9%. If you bump it up to league average, which is probably something like 85%, you're going to be like, oh yeah, it was 49 saves. So that's a difference of 16 games. If that's a difference of 16 games, not only do we lead the Central, but we are well ahead in the Central. Like, I'm not talking we're going to have like a Tampa Bay Rays kind of situation, but we're going to be one of the top teams in the American League or in the American League just because of how bad this season's been.
What's your honorable mention?
Oh, yes, I wrote them down. Let me pull it up real quick. I have a few honorable mentions, and a couple of them are honorable mentions. So
I would hope so.
Yes. So I have 3 things to bring up, and 2 of them I have expanding questions. So my first honorable mention is Spider-Man. I went and saw the new Spider-Man movie. It's the first movie I've gotten to see since my baby's been born, which is crazy. Besides when I took 4 days to go see all the Lord of the Rings movies, but it was the first movie that Cass and I got to go see together. So that new Spider-Man movie, I don't know if you've seen it yet. Have you?
I've seen it, yes.
So it was definitely one of the most interesting but cool Spider-Man movies of all of them. I'm talking out of the original ones with Tobey Maguire, the extra Amazing Spider-Mans with Andrew Garfield, and now Tom Holland has a whole collection of Spider-Man movies. But it's one like none other. Like, it was a very, I'm not going to spoil it for anyone that hasn't seen it yet, but that's kind of my like non-spoiler spoiler, is it's kind of not like anything you've seen with Spider-Man yet. So my question to you, with that being said, is who is your favorite Spider-Man?
Oh, that's easy for me. So, first off, Brand New Day is the best Tom Holland Spider-Man film, in my opinion.
Okay.
But getting further into that, I actually was like kind of I don't want to say I was a Spider-Man hater, but I like was kind of indifferent about Spider-Man. Like, I saw the Tobey Maguire films. I appreciate them more now than I did back then. I think that's
Okay.
because, and honestly, I think it's because I used to be like very like DC is better.
DC is better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I remember that.
I still hold that opinion, but I also don't care that much anymore. But
Movie wise, I emphatically disagree.
movie wise, MCU blows what DC has done out of the water. Yes. But
Yeah.
Tom Holland changed my opinion on Spider-Man. When he came in, I was like, oh, this guy's cool. I never saw the Amazing Spider-Man movies because I was just like, who cares? Who cares? But
Have you still not seen him?
no, I still haven't seen him. And
Go watch them. They're great.
I probably
He is
won't.
definitely Andrew Garfield is by far the funniest. They did a great job of making him Andrew Garfield-esque. Like you would like him. If you watched them, you'd like him. They're kind of silly, but you know. Go ahead.
Tom Holland for me. I do like the Tobey Maguire films. I like them. The third one kind of stinks, but I like them. Brand New Day is good. Very, very good.
There you go. Okay, moving on. So, second honorable mention is my wife. Happy birthday to my wife. She is years old. Shout out. Actually, cut that. I'm not allowed to talk about how old she is, so cut that. So one of the things we did to celebrate was dinner and a movie. We saw Spider-Man, but before Spider-Man, we went to a restaurant down off of Metcalf known as Joy Walk. You ever heard of Joy Walk?
Never heard of her.
They're a Chinese buffet, and on the weekends, they do unlimited seafood buffet. More importantly, crab legs. So we go in there, and we had like 45 minutes before we had to leave because we had the movie. We sat down, and we ate collectively about 8 plates of crab. Each plate would have like 3 or 4 clusters. Or, I'm sorry, 2 or 3 clusters of crab legs. And we did about the math. We both had about 7 or 8 clusters of crab legs. So
That's a lot of work.
yeah, it was a lot of work, but it was so freaking good. So my question for that is, are you a seafood guy? And what's your favorite seafood?
So I do like seafood. I don't, however, get many opportunities to eat it because my wife is not a seafood person. So I don't eat it that much. But when I do,
You know, your wife used to claim that she was allergic to it because she hated it so much.
Yeah. No, I do like seafood. I love salmon. I
Oh,
love shrimp. Fresh fish. Like I think one of the like we
a
went
little
down
fish fry. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah, we went down to Texas, and this was years ago. There's a place called Snoopy's. That was like literally on the water.
Ooh.
Literally on the water.
Oh,
It was like as fresh as fish can be, and yeah. But yeah, I love seafood.
that's awesome. I had a good mahi-mahi, a good blackened mahi-mahi
Yeah.
when I was in, where was I? I was in Daytona. They had a awesome fish place that was up on a pier. Went there, and dude, that was so good. It had to have been within the last day or so that thing was caught. It was so good.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, very good. My actual honorable mention, the last of the 3, is going to Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker for nailing a 69 yard field goal in the preseason game, which is a Chiefs franchise record pre-regular or post-seasons. So shout out, Harrison. Fantastic work.
Wouldn't that have been an NFL record?
NFL record for longest field goal is 68 yards by Cam Little of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He also hit a 70-yarder preseason. So it would have been the second longest field goal ever successfully made in NFL pre-regular or postseason.
Nice.
So yeah, him and Cam Little, they're both got legs of steel, bro. But yeah,
Little Cam.
shout out Harrison Butker. Yeah, little Cam.
Little
Weird
Cam.
number like 38, whatever the heck he is.
Yeah, I like that. My honorable mention, I have 2. We just celebrated my grandpa's 85th birthday over the weekend.
Ooh.
Had a good time. We took my dad, my uncle, and him on Friday. We went out to Winterstone and We did some things to that golf course that we're not proud of, but, but we were out there.
Did you play golf?
We did. You could call it that, but no, that. And then last Christmas, actually, I got my wife tickets to Wicked the musical as they were coming through town, and got to see Wicked on Tuesday night, and really, really awesome show.
Really?
Yeah, really good, really good.
It wasn't. Obviously, I wouldn't expect it that it was the actual actresses singing or nothing, was it? It was just really good Broadway
it was like
style stuff.
A touring Broadway cast.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha.
So they go and they spend
really cool.
like 2.5 weeks and just do a bunch of shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That was good.
I've never seen those movies. I've never seen them. I'm assuming they're pretty good.
Yeah, I've seen. It's funny. I saw the first Wicked. Celeste has seen both of those, Wicked and Wicked for Good, like 57 times. But
oh my!
I saw Wicked, and then I saw like half of Wicked for Good. But the musical was awesome, and it's funny. Like, I think doing anything live and having like all of the practical effects is like cooler than anything you can do in a movie.
Yeah,
but I liked the pacing of the musical because it was like, here's a lot of implied stuff, and they just like glossed over some things that like they took time to spell out in the movie, and I was like, thank you for just like being like, oh, they know, and just going on to the next thing.
Yeah. That's awesome. So we went and saw Dinner Theater out in Overland Park, and we got to see, I think it was Robin Hood or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure it was Robin Hood. And I just appreciated the fact that it was like, it was an adaptation, of course, of the story, but it's like, it was fun. It was funny. You know, like they made the characters, it wasn't like they modernized it too much, but like there would be some parts where like they would talk normal instead of in their old Eastern, like, oh, doth thee, you know, like some characters were like that, but then some were just regular old, like, yeah, what are you doing, dude? What's going on here? And it was pretty funny. I love live stuff as well. I always say that like there's some things that you have to see live. Like my wife is a competition dance teacher. I don't understand watching it on a screen. Like it looks cool on a screen when you're getting to see the whole entire picture. Like you can see the whole stage with on one screen. You can kind of see this symmetry of everything. It's almost like watching synchronized swimming. Like everything looks better on screen. But dude, seeing it in person, it's completely a different product. Like I'm not sure there's a sport that is really like that besides maybe like hockey, where like if you're watching it on TV, it's just kind of like a lot of.
I think soccer.
Yeah, I'd say soccer too. Like watching, soccer and hockey are like D to C tier television products, but then they're at least A tier.
Yeah,
in person. Hockey might be my favorite sport to watch in person.
I love soccer
because
in
it's
person.
so awesome.
But I love both of those in person. I'm indifferent otherwise.
Yeah.
But like going to a sporting game in person versus watching it on TV, night and day experiences.
Yeah, exactly my point. So that's awesome. I'm glad, because I mean, watching a movie and then getting to have a musical, it's almost like I got to go see. I think I don't know what it was that I got to go see. I got to go see some kind of like similar thing. It was a different thing, like maybe Shrek the musical or something.
Heck
and
yeah.
It was awesome. Yeah. It's a little bit different than what you're expecting, but it's goofy. Like it's fun. They don't take it too seriously. It's never like anything super dramatic or anything. So it's fun. It's always cool. So that's awesome. Very good honorable mentions. We did a good job.
We did.
We killed that one.
We did. All right,
everybody. Well, thank you for listening in to another episode of ELR 41. Stay tuned this week. I'll get that Toronto Blue Jays recap to all y'all here on like Thursday, I think. Friday, I don't know. Probably Friday morning. Yeah, Friday morning, and then Brandon will get the Guardians, I think. Guardians That'll be next week, this time next week. So
Yep.
hopefully we'll be talking about how the Royals are in the middle of a 14-game winning streak or something crazy. Yeah, we'll see. On the mound tonight for the Blue Jays. You mentioned it in your short, but Seth Lugo is going up against Scherzer. It's going to be funny. Scherzer is not doing good. He's 1 for 6 with a 7.4 ERA. And Seth Lugo, you know how I feel about Seth Lugo this year. So we'll see how it goes, man. We'll see how it goes.
All right.
All right, brother. Good work. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Catch you later. Peace.